So, good afternoon, Guy. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks.
Guys,
Good morning from
yes,
Brisbane.
morning in Los Angeles, afternoon in Brisbane, the town where I grew up.
Right.
So let's start by telling folks what you've achieved, but let's just limit it to the headline or headlines if you like, just the bullet points. We'll dig into them and elaborate on them in a second, but tell me the bullet points.
Yeah. Well, look, um, I guess the headline is that we've probably grown in 2.5 years. My revenue has grown by about 150%. You know, it's actually been phenomenal growth. So that's the headline. I've grown. My customer service team has grown by about the same amount. I've got I had one person in there, and I was picking up all the pieces, and now I've got 4 in customer service. I've got a sort of a dedicated inside sales guy, and then I'm running sort of the business development as well as the rest of the company. But
So revenues, let's just dig into that a little bit. Revenues have grown by about 150%. Obviously, costs have gone up. It'd be hard to grow that much without costs increasing. But has revenue increased faster than costs?
Look, it probably took a little bit for the rev to catch up. So there was an investment in people, an investment in processes, and just sort of to get that momentum to where it is today. It's taken a little while to catch up, but last 3 months, I'm just getting these consistent results. From the process. So it seems like I sort of hit the critical mass of, if I could use that term. Yeah.
So it would be fair to say that now that you've caught up with the increase, there were some increases in expenses that occurred before the revenues increased, but with a 120-130% increase in revenues, presumably your revenues as you stand today are greater than the increase in costs.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So you're more profitable than you were before 2.5 years ago.
More profitable.
Yeah.
And consistent too, So it's just sort of, which is super important is, getting some consistency in it instead of the dips and the highs and the lows. I've got this, consistency, so it's easy to plan. I feel like I can, invest more back, in the company now too.
So I guess skeptics out there could listen to this and say, well, 150% increase in revenues, that's pretty incredible. But how much of a contribution to that did ballistics actually make? How did we know that that Guy's business wasn't going to grow anyway?
Look, I couldn't have done it without you guys. I was floundering. I looked around for a little, to find, I needed a hand. I couldn't have done it by myself. I'm a technician. I know the product well. I can look after my customers, but I needed a hand to put a process in place that was sustainable, that we could scale. There's no way I could have done that myself. As I said, I looked around. I talked to a few people before one of my mentors suggested that I read your book, The Machine, and then the guys that I got in here, they started talking. How do you know that you need to grow? How do you know that you need a process? And I'm going, look, I don't need to crunch the numbers. I'm doing 12 or 14 hours a day. I need a hand. And then when we went to another guy and he goes, what you need is a sales and marketing plan, you know, and it's like, well,
yeah,
actually,
like a hole in the head.
Yeah, you know, and then when I started reading The Machine, it was like, well, actually, you know, it's no use having a sales and marketing plan if I haven't got the bums on the seats to look after all that stuff. So it was really, you know, I still remember, you know, listening to, you know, a couple of the videos. You know, as I was out walking, and it just all made sense to me. You know, the whole process. Yeah. So.
That's excellent, Guy. Our whole team is really excited about what you've achieved, and I'll give you a moment to talk about the business in the beginning, but I'll kind of start you off by pointing out that yours is a smaller business than we would normally work with, and that's important to us because of the fact it's important to me because you know, I'll often have owners of small businesses attend events, and they will look at the diagrams with all of the roles, and they'll say, well, obviously you advocate division of labor. What happens if you have a small business and you can't have all those circles that are up there on the chart? And I try and make the point to them that if you have a small business, you don't have as much slack as you do with a big business. So it's more important, not less important, than to think very carefully about, you know, division of labor and the demarcation of responsibilities. So your example is exciting because you really were a very small business, a retailer too, which is a business type that we tend to avoid. And you have really knuckled down and consistently grown, you know, month over month over month. You know, every couple of months you guys were hitting a new record, and it's just been great to see.
Yeah.
So can you describe the business? Describe the business first so folks know.
Yeah, so when we, you know, I had a sort of my right-hand man, if you like, who was, you know, and I had a girl who was sort of, you know, not really, you know, not a height safety natural, if, you know, and she was sort of, you know, she didn't really want to be in sales, but she helped a bit with the admin side of things.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sort of going, well, you know, how do I grow? I need another person. What are they going to do? You know, and you know, I just, you know, do I need a salesman on the road? Do I, you know, typical, like, how do I grow the business? How do I get more sales? You know, I mean, we had a very, we didn't do much marketing. You know, we sort of had every now and again when I had time, I'd do a sort of a blog and an email out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you know, it was all very haphazard, and you know, there was no structure to it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's really where we needed to get to. But as I said, I just had no idea how.
So I'm sure folks can identify with that. Can you tell us just a little bit about the business? What type of business are you? What do you do?
Sorry. Yeah. So we're height safety, confined space, and rescue specialists. So so we deal in the safety industry, but we've got this really narrow niche, which is the height safety. So we install safety systems, we sell safety equipment, we have a team of guys that actually do work on ropes, so the rope access technician. We do training, and there's a heavy compliance. A lot of compliance that we do, you know, inspecting people's harnesses and inspecting systems. So mainly B2B. In fact, you know, everything's B2B. You know, very few sort of, you know, we sell a few roofers kits to guys that want to be safe when they jump on their roof at home. But you know, it's mainly mainly B2B.
Yeah. And what's your mix of revenues between say products, which is mostly the store, and services?
So revenue would be 50-50.
Okay.
So we've got our what we call our ESS, which is our equipment services, and then we've got our OSS, which is our on-site services, and the revenue would be split 50-50. They don't have as much cost of goods, and there's just a labour only, generally labour only. So when it comes to actually profit, it's probably a 40-60 split. But they're a little bit more profitable. But being selling equipment, that's just heavy cost of goods.
So what are the biggest changes that now Trudy worked with you for how long did Trudy work with you and Jason?
Look, I think it was about 2.5 years.
Okay, so there's obviously lots and lots of little things, and the little things are important, yeah. But what are the big things? What are the big changes that the team made over that period?
So the big changes were employing dedicated customer service team, implementing a customer management system, I guess, or CRM.
CRM, yeah.
Marketing. We got some structure around the marketing, and then once we'd sort of got foundations, the ability to deal with the increase in revenue, which we were hoping for, we were pushing for, then we started with sort of actually then going outbound. We were never an outbound business. We waited for the phone to ring. So all our inquiries were inbound. So we knew that before we went outbound, we had to get a customer service team, so we did that. And then we started going out there. So we employed an inside sales guy, and then started, this program, something that you guys sort of put in place.
Sorry, Guy, we lost your audio there a little bit. You said you employed an inside sales guy and started, and I missed what came after that.
Yeah. So then we started. We started doing the campaign. So identifying groups of customers, and putting together campaigns and following the process that you sort of outline in your book for the inside sales.
Yeah, so identifying segments, coming up with propositions, sending pre-approach emails and following up. And does that drive sales?
Look, it does. It's, we sort of found that, being a small business, it has challenges, because I've only got one guy there.
Yes.
I really need to do a lot more than just the inside sales.
Yeah.
We definitely were, I think that, as far as direct sales from the conversation, we weren't getting, a conversation then making a sale. There wasn't a high hit rate, but it was actually the people that we were talking to didn't know we existed. And what I found, is there was just a sort of organic growth. 3 months later, we'd have a guy come into the front counter, and I'd go like, how did he come about to be here? And it was, I'd look in the CRM and find that it was actually, from a conversation that our inside sales guy had with him, or that I assume that that's where it had come from that outbound,
Well, something was driving that growth.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it was definitely sort of all of this outbound campaign that we're doing. Look, we've had a couple of big wins too. Just from one phone conversation, just making the call at the right time, we've ended up with an air conditioning company who have a contract to look after air conditioning on the roof of a chain of childcare centres, and they all need safety systems up on the roof. So we've gone, from one phone call, we've ended up with an incredible amount of work. There's about 50 centres that we're just slowly now going through, doing audits and upgrading their systems, and then we'll get the inspections on those every 12 months. So, we're building this sort of, work for the future from it as well,
Yeah, and really that's the nature of sales. It's non-deterministic. What surprised you? What was a surprise for you during the transition? Obviously, we're in the fortunate position that the general expectations we had at the beginning, I think, have pretty much all come to pass, which is excellent. But what surprised you along the way?
Look, I think. So we did a couple of different campaigns as well, and we just sort of some of the campaigns weren't inside sales; they were just sort of sending out EDMs. And,
yep.
It was the response that we got from those was the phones would start ringing, and we'd just sell some stuff. I'd go, oh, look, I think this is going to work. Let's make sure we've got some stock. And then it would be like, within hours, I'd be going, just double that order, and super successful. So, funny, the business has been going for 20 years, and for 15 or 17 years, we just sat and waited for the phones to ring. And so the power of the outbound and the marketing,
combined with great customer service, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you hadn't shored up customer service, but done that additional outreach, would you have had the same result?
No, we wouldn't. We would have been floundering. So, and I think that's probably the biggest thing that it was actually, I was keen. I was roll the sleeves up, let's go and sell some stuff. And it was just like, come on, make sure you've got the foundations there, because all you're going to do if you increase your volume of sales is you're not going to get it out the door. Customer service is, the team that you've got in customer service is going to drop the ball. And there's no way, as I said, there's no way I could have done that myself. So with the guidance of the team, because you guys have done it before, it's just like, this is what we need to do. So I just sort of buckled in.
I think it's such an important point. I was talking to these folks a few minutes ago, and I said to them, where's the constraint? And they said, production. I said, well, great. Where is it in production? And they said, well, maybe it's assembly, but it's drawings, possibly. I said, hang on, that's not production, that's engineering. And they said, oh, but it's sometimes there and it's sometimes over here. And I said to them, guys, your business is chaotic. Why do you want to scale it? That's not going to end well. And I think that so many small businesses just fail to recognize that if your business is chaotic, it's a self-limiting system. And throwing money at sales is just, it's money down the drain. And it's difficult to sell that point, but it's so important, particularly for small businesses.
Yeah, look, it's interesting that you should say that, because I've actually spent the last 2 weeks in the store trying to have a deep dive into the stores and the systems in stores, because that's where our constraint is now. Is getting that stuff out the door. So the sales, we've kind of great job with the sales, but it's just putting pressure on getting stuff out the door now. So that's my constraint. If I keep pushing the sales too heavily, it's just all going to back up in store. So I'm now sort of focusing on making sure the supply chain is working, logistics is working. Good problem to have. Can't get it.
Yeah. Your store's going to become a shop window with a big logistics center inside.
Yeah. I've actually about a year ago we expanded into the unit next door, and the partners in the business are going, we'll back you on it, and but make sure you leave a back door, to get out of the. So I signed a lease for a year, but my stores is exploding now. It's doubled in size, and I'm really glad that I've got that space in there. I actually don't know what I'm going to do if we keep growing the way we're going. I'll have to start thinking about where am I going to store stuff,
Yeah. Well, there are some very important considerations. Where do you store stuff, and what color Rolls Royce should you get?
Look, we ship 12,000 items a month, so that's huge. We've got like carabiners. I haven't got one handy, but we sell a lot of carabiners. We sell a lot of rope. We sell a lot of gear. 12,000 items a month go through the store, and that's 12,000 come in and 12,000 go out.
Yeah, 24,000 movements.
Doing it. Yeah. So I probably should have started looking at it a little bit earlier than 2 weeks ago. We've just been on this trajectory for the last few months. That doesn't look like it's, as a small business, you go, oh yes, we had a big month, and then you're only as good as your last month.
Yes.
If you had a crystal ball, you'd go, all right, well, I'll invest, I'll put some money there, I'll get some more shelving, I'll expand, but it's really.
Well, it takes a few months before you can say, yes, this is a trend, as opposed to just normal variation.
That's it. Yeah.
Well,
it's just not going to get any slower. So.
Yeah. Well, Guy, it's a great story, and I really appreciate you sharing it. We've loved working with you guys over the last couple of years. We always have a small number of clients, and I said this when I was interviewing the Safer guys, or Doug from Safer, who you know well because he's in the same industry, a supplier of yours, I think. But it seems that at Ballistics, there's always a small number of clients that really garner the affection of the team. We really get excited, and the team, ends up as a consequence investing a lot of additional effort. And I'm really happy that you've been one of those organizations.
Yeah, no, we've really appreciated the help. Even we've stopped the engagement with Trudy, but we're still using the ballistics for our marketing stuff, and to do our all the design stuff, and to give me a hand at the website
and our technology too. I think you're still using
and tech. Yeah, we've got the tech as well. So it's great. I love working with the team. My personal growth has been amazing too. What I've learned on this journey as well. But it's just been fantastic. It's been great for the business, and it's also been, I feel that personally, it's been a journey, but a great journey as well. And I've embraced it too. I mean, You know, I've read a lot, and yeah, you know, excited about the future. You know, it's a real change point for me, actually, coming across your book and then listening to the videos. You know, the video series that you
Yes.
that you put.
That I haven't finished yet.
Great.
Yeah.
Look, for me, those first sort of the first four, really remember the first four chapters because they really applied to me, and they really resonated with the way I thought, and I knew you know, that I was on the right track. And you've got an office in Brisbane.
It's all about the office in Brisbane. Well, if you saw the office in Brisbane, Guy, you would be. If you ever saw our office in Brisbane, you would be much less impressed.
I've been there. Yeah.
You've seen it?
No, I've been there. I'm actually probably more impressed that you can get this such quality out. I mean, you guys, you know, I took advantage of your development team too, and I've built a couple of websites.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that, you know, just you know, that's been great. But, you know, and we put up the Google AdWords, and you know, we've come such a long way.
You've done a lot. Well, it's been great, Guy. We're happy that the relationship goes on. It's awesome to see the progress you've made, and thank you so much for sharing it.
No worries.
Okay. Talk to you soon.
There is.
Bye-bye.